More evidence that Donald Trump and today's MAGA Republican Party are not conservative. So I've been telling you literally for years that there is nothing conservative about today's Republican Party and nothing whatsoever conservative about Donald Trump. The MAGA movement, of which Donald Trump is the head, is a fascist movement, to the extent that it is political at all, as opposed to simply a personality cult. It is, in its essence, a fascist authoritarian movement. This is not traditional conservatism in any shape, manner, or form. And I want to give you an example of that. And this has to do with individual liberty. You know, Republicans pretend to be champions of individual liberty. I want to play you a clip of Donald Trump in a recent interview in which he talks about his plans for regulating contraception. Take a look at this.
The whole issue of contraceptives. Do you support any restrictions on a person's right to contraception?
Well, we're looking at that, and I'm going to have a policy on that very shortly. And I think it's something that you'll find interesting. And it's another issue that's very interesting. But you will find it, I think, very smart. I think it's a smart decision.
So the conservative position, because, you know, Donald Trump is labeled a conservative. By the way, that word no longer has any of its traditional meaning. You know, there's a lot of people who were Republicans, lifelong Republicans, such as myself, who actually believed in things and actually had principles and actually understood what individual liberty and constitutional conservatism is. This Republican Party has abandoned all of that. And for that reason, people like myself have left the party. There are no more conservatives in the Republican Party. Traditional, principled conservatives have all left. So let's get that out of the way, because they have absolutely destroyed the word conservatism, which is why I don't call myself a conservative anymore, because you say you're a conservative now and people associate that with Trump and MAGA cultism. That's not what I have ever meant when I have referred to myself as a conservative, so I no longer do, because that's how people interpret that word now. Anyway, there is absolutely nothing whatsoever conservative or constitutional about the idea that the federal government would get involved in the issue of contraception. You know, these MAGA Republicans, the biggest irony of all of this political shit of the last, of the Trump years, has been this idea that Republicans pretend to be champions of the Constitution. There has been no group, not certainly in my lifetime, and perhaps in all of American history, save maybe the Civil War era, where there has been a group of Americans, a political movement, more opposed to the Constitution than the MAGA cult, yet they pretend to be champions of it. If you are familiar at all with the Constitution, you would understand that the federal government, now you could argue that no government at any level has any authority to get involved in contraception, but what is absolutely true is that the federal government, which is a government of limited enumerated authority, meaning the federal government has only that authority which is specifically enumerated in the Constitution. So if you want to know whether or not the federal government, be it the president, the Congress, the courts, have the authority to do something, look at the Constitution. My phone just crapped out. Let me try that again. So if you want to know if the government, the federal government, has any authority to do something, take a look at the Constitution and see if that authority is granted somewhere in that document. With respect to contraception, you will find absolutely nothing that either directly, indirectly, tangentially, or in any other indirect way, however tenuous, gives the federal government any authority whatsoever to regulate contraception. The federal government has no authority whatsoever. So anyone who is suggesting that the federal government should get involved in regulating contraception is someone who either has no understanding of the Constitution whatsoever or simply doesn't freaking care. Now, when it comes to Donald Trump, I guarantee you that both of those things apply to him. That man doesn't know the first friggin' thing about the Constitution, and he couldn't possibly care any less. He pretends to support the Constitution. He doesn't know what's in the Constitution, and he doesn't care what's in the Constitution. He doesn't care. And neither do any of his supporters. Yet they'll all go around pretending to be these constitutionalists, yet they have no idea what's in the document, and to the extent that they don't care. They don't care. Because they're not constitutionalists, they're not conservatives, they have no interest in individual liberty. The only individual liberty they support is that which they personally support. So unless they approve of it, they don't want anybody else to do it. That's not individual liberty. That is authoritarianism. If you have the freedom to do only that which the government allows you to do, that's not freedom. That's not individual liberty. And that is the essence of the MAGA movement. They want to control every aspect of your life, and they will only allow you to do that which they personally approve of. And for some reason, if they don't want you to have contraception, they don't want you to use contraception, then they support the federal government making it illegal for you to use contraception. Now let's take that issue for a second, contraception. This gets wrapped up in the pro-life, pro-choice discussion. It has nothing to do with it. Contraception, there's no life or arguable life in the discussion. Contraception is about preventing pregnancy. So this is not about pro-choice, pro-life. This is about authoritarianism. This is about the government, the federal government, telling you, if you're a man, whether you can take latex and put it on your penis to prevent you from inseminating someone. If you're a woman, from taking a pill or something else to prevent an egg from being fertilized. Are they going to prevent vasectomies? Are they going to make that procedure illegal? I mean, when you think about it, think about the authoritarianism we're talking about when we're talking about the federal government getting involved with contraception. Just that one issue alone should tell you everything you need to know. Now, with respect to Donald Trump in this ridiculous interview, he has since put out a post on his Truth Social, and he says that he doesn't support any regulations of contraception at all. So he flip-flopped. And that's not surprising. What you need to understand about Donald Trump is that he doesn't care about any issue at all. He doesn't care about contraception. He doesn't care about pro-choice, pro-life. He's not pro-life. He doesn't care about abortion at all. He doesn't care about virtually any issue at all. The only thing he cares about is attaining and keeping power. And we'll talk about this more in upcoming videos. But if Donald Trump ever gets power again, he plans never to relinquish it. He will never willingly leave office. And upon his election, he will spend all of his time conspiring to keep himself in office beyond his 4-year term, if God forbid he is elected. But we'll talk about that more later. The point is, Donald Trump doesn't care about any issue at all other than himself attaining and keeping power. That said, however, there are a lot of these crazies around him to whom he will delegate all policy decisions within his administration, who do care deeply about the issues, and they are not conservative either. Again, they are fascist. And once Donald Trump is safely reelected, if again, God forbid that happens, he will just let them have free reign over policy. He won't care at that point. And he won't care about public opinion at that point either, because he will never stand for election again. And I know you're thinking, well, didn't you just say he's going to try to stay in office? Yes, he's going to try to stay in office past his 4-year term, but it won't be through elections. He won't care about public opinion at that point. But anyways, Trump doesn't care about policy, but the crazies that he surrounds himself with, and there will be no normal people within his administration, as there were last time, to sort of put the brakes on some of the crazy. Only insane loyalists will get positions in his administration this time. People like Steve Bannon and Stephen Miller and Kash Patel and all these lunatics. These will be the people running policy. And you will get things like a contraception ban. You will get, things like basically concentration camps. First for illegal aliens, then for other people. And we'll talk more about that later. Anyway, I got to wrap this up. The point is, and this contraception comment. See, the thing about Donald Trump, I'll just do one more thing about this. He made this comment to this interviewer who asked him about contraception. He told that guy what he wants to hear, okay? And then later he comes out and retracts it. His cult doesn't care what he says, okay? They don't care. They understand that they're going to get all the crazy that they want. They want bans on contraception. They want all these kinds of things. And they know Donald Trump is not going to stop any of this. So now he puts out a tweet or truth or whatever the hell to say that he opposes. No, he doesn't. He doesn't care. If he gets reelected, he's just going to turn this all over to the lunatics who are the MAGA cult base. And they will get all of these crazy authoritarian policies that they desire. Anyways, the point is, Trump doesn't care about any of these issues. He cares only about power, but the lunatics around him do care about these issues. So you want to know what policy you're going to get from Donald Trump? Then go watch the Steve Bannon podcast. Listen to Stephen Miller. Those are the people who will tell you what Donald Trump policies will be. You don't listen to what's coming out of the orange turd's mouth. He will say whatever he thinks he needs to say to whoever he's talking to get their support. He doesn't care. He's going to turn it over to the nuts. So watch the nuts. Listen to the nuts. Those are the policies that you're going to get. But none of it, and here's the point, bringing it back full circle, none of it is conservative. But I know I've lost the battle on that word. I'm just telling you, traditionally, what the word conservative means, and, this is not that. Nothing about Donald Trump or MAGA is conservative in the traditional sense. And certainly none of it is founded in the Constitution. This is extra-constitutional. This is post-constitutional. Nothing less than the Constitution is on the ballot this November. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote to end our constitutional republic. What exactly we'll have afterward, if, God forbid, Donald Trump is reelected, I don't know. But what I tell you we won't have is the constitutional republicanism, small r, that we have had up until now. That will be gone. What will replace it is MAGA authoritarianism. The shape and contours of exactly what that is or will be, I don't know. God willing, we never find out. But it won't be constitutional. That I promise you. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment if you have anything to say about what I've said here today. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. And until next time, be well, and I'll talk to you again soon.